Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us live on Facebook. This is Lisa Sharkey. She is with HarperCollins. She's the Executive Vice President, and they have published this amazing book for me. Thank you so much, Lisa.
You are so welcome. It's such a beautiful book.
Thank you. You did such a great job.
And we have a special guest.
This is our very, very special guest. What is your name, young lady? Hayden. This is my daughter, Hayden, and she is actually, are you Elsa or Cinderella today? Cinderella. And what is this? Is this your cape?
Yeah.
That's her cape. Like Elsa has a cape, and so she has made a cape out of her blanket. We'll have to get you a cape that ties right here, and you can use it like Elsa does, okay? You want to do that? Are you going to be shy? So we're in my living room, or my dining room actually, that kind of connects to my living room. This is Hayden's playroom back here. You can hold you. And sorry for the junk, but it's kind of our catch-all room.
My blanket, Mama.
You don't want it?
I don't want my blanket.
Okay,
Can I
can
hold
Lisa
it
hold it?
for you? If you want it back,
What do you-
I'll give it to you, okay?
Could Lisa hold it? Say yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
What
so
nice
we're going to be
manners.
signing these books while we're talking, because those of you who are watching and who order the books, you can get your signed copy. So
Yes,
look at
sign
that.
it. Copy.
Control.
Oh, can you draw? I don't think anyone wants drawings on these, baby girl, but we can get you some
Actually, we
paper.
can get some paper and some crayons,
Yes.
and we could draw.
Maybe Winnie would get us some paper.
That would be
Do
really
we have any
fun.
crayons and paper? And Coach is here. My dad is here on the other side of the camera. You want to come say hey, Dad?
That's okay.
Okay, he'll say, maybe we
Or
can
anybody
convince him.
else.
Elizabeth, who is the assistant for Brian and Steve and me, who is amazing. She is in the background and is helping us with the books, and is also going to follow, what are you doing, social media and questions on social media? Is that right, Elizabeth?
Well, we've got a lot of questions already, so I'm just going to get started
Okay,
with
let's go,
Tracy
Lisa.
from South Carolina. She says, how do you stay positive, so positive each day?
So sweet. Thank you. I just try to always remember I have so many blessings in my life. And trust me, I have those days when I've had too much or I'm really, really stressed. Usually that's because I haven't had sleep. And then I normally cry. It's more of crying instead of being angry. But anyway, I try to be positive because I just love God and I want to represent Him and I want to be a good mother and I want a very calm house and I want her to see me calm and patient and I want her to know that Jesus loves her and I want to be the best example
I want Elsa, Mama.
to her. You want to watch Elsa?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, let's talk about this book, because The Light Within Me is a very special title.
Thank you.
There's a reason that you wanted to write this book, and we haven't really talked about that yet. It's, we're calling this an inspirational memoir, which is exactly what it is. What does that mean to you, Ainsley?
Well, for me, I wrote the 2 children's books, and those were about being a mother, being a daughter, and a lot of the messages that my parents passed on to me that I wanted to pass on to her and to other children around the world. And there was another story in my heart that I really wanted to be told, and when you guys approached me about sharing my faith, because a lot of our viewers will say to me, thank you for being bold about your faith and thank you for sharing. Okay, do you want to go ask Winnie to put it on for you, honey? Go right back there. Winnie will help you.
Mama.
You want me to help you? I'm in the middle of a live signing. Can Coach help you? Maybe Winnie will find it on my computer. Winnie, if you want to bring me my computer, you can. It's in my bedroom, and I can give you that, and she can watch it. You know how to do it? Okay, she can watch it on your phone. Thanks, Winnie. Okay, so I'm sorry. Where were we?
About why we wanted to sign up the book and why, sometimes it's controversial to talk about your beliefs.
I know.
And yet your belief is about love and about light, and it's about the light within you, and it's about something that's so deeply personal but yet so universal.
Well, I don't ever want to push my faith on anyone.
Of course.
I'm not here to tell you you have to be a Christian, you have to do it this way. I'm just here to tell you what works for me and what my story is and how I got to Fox and Friends and how all my dreams came true. And I credit my relationship with God, who gave me gave me all the tools that I needed to get there. And that is, I was talking earlier to my boss about this, about not being not having that victim mentality, not saying, why did they get it and I didn't get it,
Right.
but just to be grateful for what you do have and enjoy the ride and just put your head down and work, work, work. And God will show you the way, and he will bless you in mighty ways beyond your dreams. And if something doesn't work out for you, what I've learned is that God is the only one that can see the future. We can't. And I really believe that. And so I believe that if he steers you in a different direction than where you want to go, that he's doing that because he sees that the way you think is best could be put you in a roadblock, or you might hate the job that you're going for, and he has a different direction for you because he knows the plan is better if you go this way. And so I think that's what I've learned after just some disappointments in my life, just to relax, breathe, enjoy the ride, and trust God. And don't go to your boss every 2 seconds asking for a bigger salary or the next job or a promotion. Just let it all happen. I definitely think that if your boss asks you, or if there are 5 people that are in line for this, you can go to them and you can say, I really would like this, please consider me. But I think you can say anything, it's all in how you say it. You don't want to go in there and say, why did they get it? Why I've worked here longer, and why did they've only been here a year and they get the promotion and I don't. That's more of just the victim mentality. And I think that having a relationship with God has allowed me just to accept the ups and the downs and keep going.
Well, one disappointment for you, going back to your childhood, and it's in the book, and I just want to show a picture of, because I had this disappointment too, was actually not making cheerleading
Oh, I know.
in 8th grade after you'd made cheerleading in 7th grade. I don't know
Right.
if you all can see this picture, but it's so cute. This book is filled with the most incredibly wonderful pictures of Ainsley's
you.
childhood. And this was an early disappointment. You grew up in South Carolina. You went to school in South Carolina. You got your first job there. Let's talk a little bit about your childhood and growing up in South Carolina.
Well, that story, I love the cheerleading story because Dad, who's right back there, I remember years later Mom telling me, we didn't expect you to make the cheerleading team because Dad could tell you I have 2 left feet. But I somehow made the cheerleading team. I remember I couldn't even do a cartwheel. I just ran out there and screamed.
God, me neither.
Really? I was the only, I think you and I are the only 2
I was the
girls
only one.
that have never done a
They
cartwheel.
had to
Yeah.
rearrange all the cheers. There was just 2 people in the back with their hands up.
Really?
Yeah.
For you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they changed it all
That's good
because
at
everyone else
screaming.
could do a cartwheel. So that's how I was. So I made cheerleading team 7th grade, and I tried out in 8th grade, and there were, I think, 6 of us that didn't make it. And it wasn't because we were like problem children, because we loved it and we were so happy and got along with the sponsor. Mrs. Hazel was our sponsor. I'm friends with her daughter, and her daughter, I shared with her that story in the book, and she said, that's crazy, this is about my mom. But anyway, Mrs. Hazel, we didn't make the team, and so Mrs. Hazel, I remember she had 6 of us in the storage closet in 7th grade in our hallway, and she cried in there with us, and she said, this is the only place we can all go and have some privacy. And Lindsay, my best friend Lindsay, her picture's in the book, she didn't make it either, and the 2 of us were just devastated. Lindsay went on to be a great cheerleader in high school because she was a great dancer and all of that. But I didn't make the team, and Mom picked me up from school that day, and I remember Dad coming home from work and sitting on my bed and saying, Ainsley, I was just devastated and crying. I can't go back to school. I'm so embarrassed, and what am I going to do? And Dad said, Ainsley, you have a strong personality, and God created you to be okay if you don't make cheerleading. He said, someone else needed that spot. You got the spot last year, and someone else needs a shot. He said, granted, I'll never forget this, Dad. You said, I wish everyone could make the team. I think everyone who wants to be a cheerleader should be a cheerleader. And you said, because it's 7th grade, let everyone have a shot. But those aren't the rules, and we have to follow the rules. And you said, someone else needs this more than you do, and you're going to be okay. And that other person might not have been okay if they hadn't made the team. And I remember feeling like the sacrificial lamb. I gave up my spot so someone else could be happy. And then I thought, Dad just changed the perspective.
Exactly.
Changed the
And
attitude.
speaking of that, we have a question from Mel in Omaha, Nebraska, saying, you appear, which is not just an appearance, this is true, to have a delightful and positive personality.
Thank you.
To whom or to what do you attribute that?
Well, I have great parents, and Dad and Mom are really nice people. They speak to everyone in a restaurant. Dad, we say, could be the mayor of Columbia, South Carolina. He grew up there and has so many friends that live there, and is just a good person. I mean, y'all know him. I walked in and got home from work and you all had a conversation with him and said he was so nice. Everyone loves my dad. And everyone loves my mom. They're just good people. They do the right thing. They have hearts of gold. We were in church on Sundays. We were still a lot of fun. I'm not saying, gosh, we know how to cut a rug on the dance floor and have a blast and drink our wine. And, you know, we have a fun time as a family. We have ups and downs, but we just were, I grew up in a family where I saw my dad go to work and work hard, work sometimes 3 jobs, and write thank you notes to all of his customers at night, and didn't go to bed until midnight, and was the first one up in the morning, and was working to put all 3 of us through college. And that was Dad's goal, to put us all through college, because he had to put himself through college. And so, and then my mom was a school teacher. She influenced the lives of so many little kids, and I did that for 33 years, Dad. Is that right? She was nationally board certified, which there are only a few of those. You know, it's very hard to get nationally.
Yeah, that was so hard. In the book, you learn the statistics of how few people become nationally board certified.
She's
you
an
learn
amazing
so
person.
much in this book about just really a good old-fashioned American wonderful childhood and the ups and downs of life, because it isn't always easy. You were talking about growing up and going to church and worshiping, and we have a question here from John in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, who wants to know, what is your favorite worship song?
Gosh. I remember I was in college and I started going to a Baptist church, and I write about that in the book. My mom was not happy about that because we grew up in a formal setting, an Episcopal church and a Lutheran church. And Mom wanted me to grow up in that similar environment. And so I started going to a Baptist church, and they started playing. I loved all the music. If you've ever been to a Baptist church, you know the music is phenomenal. It's not necessarily hymns out of the hymnal. It is in the old school Baptist churches, but I was going to a contemporary service where the words were up on the screen. And I remember taking Mom and Dad to the church, and Mom couldn't get past the fact that she's like, I want to open a hymnal. I don't like going to this concert, and there's we need to be more reverent, and I like it when people dress up. I can't all your friends are in jeans. She couldn't get past all of that. And I remember I was dating this guy who was a really strong Christian, and he had grown up in that environment. And the song, "The Deer Panteth for the Water," have y'all heard it? I won't even try to sing it. But I remember telling him, oh my word, I love this song. This is such a good song. He just died laughing, and so did his mom, because they said, this is such a song that we learned, when he was like a 2nd grade or 3rd grade. And it was my favorite song in college. But that just came to mind when you asked me the question. I love them all. I mean, Elizabeth, my assistant, we go to Hillsong a lot, Hillsong Church, which is downtown, and their praise and worship music is just phenomenal. If you want to download any music, go on YouTube or go to Hillsong. They have the prettiest songs, and it is like going to a concert. They turn off the lights and everyone on stage. It's just, I think what I've learned too, going to so many different churches and denominations, is that my belief is that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. And so all these churches teach that. And I believe that you can go to any of these denominations. You just have to go where you're fed.
Exactly.
And what's right for you might not be right for me. You have to go where you're going to learn and grow as a Christian and as a human being. And if you're being convicted and God is teaching you to be better, then that's probably the church. You've probably found the right church.
Well, actually, you had an experience while you were in college that was a life-changing and faith-changing experience for you. It's one of the key chapters in the book. Why don't you just give a little taste of it? You really will need to read it to get the whole story.
Right. I think the chapter is titled something like I Found Jesus at a Frat Party.
I think so.
Yeah. So I was in college, and
meeting Jesus at a frat party.
Chapter
3.
Yeah.
Page 29.
So I went to Florida State my freshman and sophomore year, and Florida State at the time was voted the #1 party school in the country. And I went with my best friend Lindsay, the one who didn't make cheerleading with me, and loved it. I had a great time. We were out every single night and trying to balance studying and going out and having fun, and I just really had a wonderful experience. And then at the end of my sophomore year, I realized I've got to settle down and choose a major. I was a biology major, but the chemistry was so hard. And year 3, I was going to have to take organic chemistry, and I just called Mom and Dad, and just said, I don't love this. I'm not happy. And so I transferred to the University of South Carolina because they had a really good journalism program. And there's a long story in here about that decision. I was really terrified to leave Florida State. And Mom said something that really meant a lot to me. She said, if you hate it, you can always go back. If you hate the University of South Carolina, you can always go back. But I transferred to South Carolina, which was where my dad went, my brother went, my grandparents went, my uncle went, both of my uncles went. My mom and my aunt went to the all-girls school right down the street. So did my sister, Columbia College. So I was very familiar with the University of South Carolina. We grew up going to all the games, tailgating. So I transferred to the school. I absolutely loved it. It was the best decision. I still stayed in touch with all my friends at Florida State and still do to this day. But my grades improved significantly because I was a journalism major and that just suited my personality. I was learning how to be a broadcaster, and in the midst of all this, I was living with a girl who also transferred. She was in my sorority, and she transferred from the University of Florida. And her name was Clara. And Clara and I lived together. And she had 2 guy friends from her hometown, from Beaufort, South Carolina. And they would always come over to our apartment, and we would cook together and just laugh. And they were great, great guys. Totally platonic relationships. They were 2 of her best friends, Matt and Jeremy. So the 4 of us decided we really wanted to buckle down and really get to know Christ. And we had all grown up in the church, but wanted to have a stronger relationship with Christ. And we had a few friends of ours that were influencing us and telling us, we had seen their lives change. So we started doing this Bible study called Experiencing God. And it was the most remarkable Bible study. It's by Henry Blackaby, and everyone that I know that has done this Bible study says their life has changed. And when I say Bible study, it's a workbook, and it's 5 lessons per week. So you can pick the 5 days. You can do them all in one day, or you could do one Monday through Friday and take the weekend off. But you learn, it teaches you how to really, really dissect Scripture. And they'll dissect a word. I was loving it. And we were having so much fun doing this. And I was invited to a fraternity party I hung out with the SAs a lot, and this guy who was very, very nice, he was just a friend, he asked me to be his date at Mountain Weekend. And so I went to Mountain Weekend with him, and he was a senior, so everyone came over to their senior cabin where we were all staying. And downstairs in the basement area we had a fire going, it was snowing outside, everyone was drinking. I didn't do drugs, but I could smell there was marijuana there at the party. And I looked around the room, and I just thought, if Jesus came back right now, and I did think if my dad walked in right now, would they be happy with where my life is going? Is this what we should be doing? And keep in mind, we're in college. I've been out of high school for a young kid. Yeah. And we're, slumber party with all this craziness happening. And so I just thought, I want something different. There's got to be more. I've done this almost every weekend throughout college. And I want to know more about Christ. And I was doing this Bible study, and whatever I was learning in those pages of that Bible study at that moment really helped to influence me and just teach me that I wanted to experience God. And I knew I couldn't experience God at living this life that I was living. So I walked outside on the back deck. Since we were down in the basement, I remember the main level of the house was up here, and there were people walking above us on the deck or up there, smoking cigarettes or something. And I was sitting down. I walked outside, and I sat down underneath that deck and just cried. And there was snow everywhere. It was beautiful. It was at night. I could hear the party in the background, but honestly, it was like an outer body experience, just like the hush of Jesus and him saying, I'm going to take care of you, Ainsley. I want to be in your life. And I remember just praying, God, I don't know how to do this. People have told me that I need to be saved or that I need a relationship with you. I don't know what all of that means, but I just want my life changed. And I want to be more like Eric Warren, who was our student body president in high school. I want to be more like Chuck Jenkins, who was a guy that I studied with from time to time. And he was just such a strong Christian, and he loved his girlfriend, and they ended up getting married. And he was just such an inspiration, and he had been a big wild party guy on campus and got the Walter Robinson Award in his fraternity, which is the Wild Man on Campus Award. And his life changed, and I just wanted that. So that's how it happened.
It's an incredible story, and I have a great story to tell you from Janet, who's from Aiken, South Carolina. This is unbelievable. She said, Ainsley, I don't have a question. I just wanted to share with you that my father-in-law used to deliver mail to your grandmother in Colombia.
No way.
Your grandmother knitted my husband booties when he was born.
Oh.
How awesome is that? Your grandmother's legacy of love and doing for others is continuing by the love you share and do to others through your life. May God continue to bless you and your precious family.
That is so cool. God,
That
it makes
is-
me cry.
I
That
feel
was
like
my
crying.
Tinka.
Oh
Tinka is
my.
my dad's mom. And she was such a wonderful, beautiful lady. She died, Dad, how old? 90? 90? And how old was Louis when he died?
Almost 96.
96, her husband. They were married, they got married when she was 16, is that right?
Something like that, yeah.
And just had, gosh, they were just wonderful people. Clearly, they raised my dad, and we all adore him. But she had the prettiest hands, so I can see her knitting. I didn't even know she was knit, but anyway,
Such a
that's
beautiful
really
story.
sweet. Thank you for sharing that. So touching.
This is a great question from Judy in Chattanooga, Oklahoma. She wants to know, what is an important factor to first consider when forming a new friendship?
Huh, that's a good one. So throughout life, you'll realize as you get older, your circle of friends probably gets a little smaller. It's because you figure out what a true friend is. And I know that I have friends all over the country because I've lived in different cities and have been fortunate enough to have great two college experiences at different schools. But I have a core group that I know I can trust and I know has my best interest in mind. And I think choose friends that have a good heart and are going to be loyal to you, and someone that's more of a sister than not someone that you're going to go out and party with and do all of that with. I mean, you can have a lot of fun together, but just someone who's loyal and good to you and can keep your secrets and loves you.
Without judgment.
Exactly.
Or,
unconditional.
it's funny, I have a best friend, and in a way it is like a sister relationship because they can tell you the truth without you taking it in any way other than that they love you.
I know.
There's
That's
a really
true.
interesting transformation that you just sort of talk about a little bit in the book, which is that, you talked about organic chemistry, but the reason you were taking those classes is that when you were younger, it seemed as though your destiny was to become an orthodontist.
Right.
And people might say, well, look at those teeth.
Thank you.
But tell us about that, because you'll learn a little bit more about it in the book. I'm sure not everyone who knows you and watches you in Fox and Friends realizes that you might have been in there putting braces on their
I know,
teeth.
right? That's right. So what happens when I was little, they told mom and dad it was either a fever or medicine that I was taking, an antibiotic, or maybe there was fluoride or lack of fluoride in our water or whatever it is. And so my permanent teeth came in. I had really pretty baby teeth. I remember mom showing me pictures and talking about that to me, and then my permanent teeth came in, and they had like spots all over them. They had like brown spots on them from either, is it not having the fluoride in your water or the medicine or whatever it was?
Yeah, or the antibiotics.
Antibiotics.
You never know exactly.
Girls on the playground, I remember these 3 girls making fun of me saying, your teeth are brown, your teeth are brown. And my teeth also, I had a huge gap in between my teeth. And I was really self-conscious of it. I didn't want to smile. And, a smile
We
is
have
everything.
a picture here. This is you with your
This
brace.
is with the braces. So
Yeah,
this was
yeah.
when Dr. Boyd was trying to close that gap. And then he had to put one set on to close that gap so the other teeth could come in. 3 sets of braces. So I started very young, and then this was in high school. I still had them in high school. But Dr. Boyd put the braces on me, and then when I got the braces off, I still had those brown spots on there, obviously. And Dr. Boyd said, for your graduation present, I'm going to give you veneers. And that, I was so excited, but a little terrified because I knew that meant like shaving down your
Yeah.
teeth and putting like a cap over it or whatever. But he said, before we do that, I want you to try this new thing that's just come on the market. It's bleaching gel. So I tried it, and it worked. And
Yay.
all those stains were removed for the most part. If you look closely, you can still see like the stains went away, but there's some really white on my teeth, and that's from that. Well, he transformed my life. I mean, his hands were like miracle magic hands.
Right.
They made me feel happy and pretty, and I smiled, and now look at these. I mean, Dr. Boyd did that. it's incredible what these
But then
orthodontists can do.
you were on that track to becoming
Oh
an
yeah, that was the question.
Okay, we'll just
okay,
go back.
sorry.
That's
So because of that, I wanted to be able to do that in other people's lives. And Dr. Boyd said, Ainsley, it's such a fun profession. Once you finish school, you'll be able to take over my practice. I'll help you pay for dental school. He went to the University of North Carolina, which is a great school, UNC, Chapel Hill. He said, I can try to help you, get in and help you cover the costs, and you can take over my practice. And he said, your emergencies on the weekends will be kids saying, my bracket is hitting me in the back, or my brackets are falling off, or my wire's hitting me in the back. And he said, then they come over to your house and you clip the bracket or clip the wire, and then they're on their way and they come in to see you on Monday. He goes, so it's a fun profession. The kids all love Dr. Boyd, didn't they, Dad? I mean, everyone went to Dr. Boyd because his office was so much fun. And so I had to call Dr. Boyd when I was changing my major and transferring to South Carolina and say, Dr. Boyd, I am so upset. I've worked for you for 4 years in high school. Then I worked for another orthodontist that he set me up with down in Florida while I was in school there. So Dr. Boyd, you've done so much for me, for my family. They're really good friends with my parents. And I said, but I just can't do this. I'm so sorry. And he said, Ainsley, I want you to be happy. And if this is not your track, it's okay. You're going to, you'll do something special. And so he was very encouraging, and I'm still great friends with him today and his family.
Well,
so that was the
that's
story.
just a great story. And Mary is from Wisconsin, and she wants to know, how do you hold on to your faith during very difficult times in your life? She says, I also have great faith. She says she's very ill. She's getting worse. She's not afraid of death, but the continued suffering, and she wants to thank you for your inspiration. So how do you hold on? You've been through tough times in your life.
Yeah.
What's the key?
I always am so sad when I know someone's suffering. My mom is sick right now, and we're watching her and struggling. She had a stroke in February, and you know this, Lisa. You've gone through similar experiences. To see someone struggle and to not have their health is the saddest thing to me.
Yeah.
And that's not something, fortunately, I've gone through. I'm so sorry for anyone. I can't imagine to be in pain every single day and to know that your life is getting shorter by the day, and I'm so sorry for you. Thank you for your love and for watching and your support. The way that, a lot of people will turn from their faith when they go through a hard time. For me, that's not what I've done. Not that I'm this great person. It's just not. I have held on to Scripture and held on to the words of my Christian friends and the devotions that I read when I'm going through the hardest time. For me, that's when I'm on my knees even more. And sometimes I thank God when I go through a hard time, because it means I'm so dependent on Him. When everything's going well, you can forget to pray and you can forget to get down on your knees and thank God for your many blessings. But when you need Him, that's when I have found I get closer to Christ. I am desperate for Him. And so I pray for anyone watching that doesn't know Him, that you become desperate for Him, because He can see you through those situations. And even though you don't understand why you're going through the valley, you have to go through the valley to get to the mountain. And that mountain might be getting into heaven. And so for me, it's life is hard. And there are many times where I've just sat down and cried out to God and just say, I can't take it anymore, God. I remember when I didn't get Fox and Friends on the weekend, and I remember sitting on the sofa and crying to my husband and saying, I am trying so hard. I have worked tirelessly for an entire year, for 10 months, Fox and Friends on the weekend, overnights Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night, and then traveling for Hannity's show on Thursdays and Fridays. I said, I've worked every single day for 10 months. I am exhausted. I don't have any more energy, and I didn't get the show, and I'm so humiliated and so embarrassed. But it's not God's plan. And I remember crying and just saying, God, I'm working so hard. Why am I here? I just want to be in heaven where you're not in any pain. You're not having a hard time. We're not working so hard. You just are surrounded by Christians and Jesus and music and hopefully a buffet and a bar. And I just so badly wanted to be in heaven with Him. And so like Barbara Bush, I'm not afraid of dying because I know where I'm going. I know that's been watching my mom go through all the sickness. I know that she's going to heaven, and our family just doesn't want her to suffer. But we've put all of our trust in God and just pray for her daily. But life is not easy. It's not. And for me, that's why you need God.
Yeah, and Laura wants to know, Laura's from Point Pleasant Beach in New Jersey, do you have a go-to scripture when you're having a bad day? By the way, speaking of scripture, if you open the book, each chapter,
Oh, yeah.
we forgot to tell people about
Yeah,
that, but
each
this is
chapter
so
has a scripture.
important. So, and these
So-
are some of your go-to scriptures.
Yeah,
So
these-
if you get the book, you will actually see all the scriptures. So
I love this one. Start children off in the way that they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it. Because as a parent, we all worry about our children. We want them to know the God that we know, and we want the best for our kids. And I just want her to know Christ at an early age. I pray that for her every night. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. I love this one. And lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your path straight. And this was, I put this on our Christmas card this year because Hayden was walking on the beach. He will make your path straight. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not on your own understanding. So you don't understand why things are happening to you maybe, but you need to trust in the Lord and not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him. Let him have your life, and he will make your paths straight. He promises that. He will make your path straight.
And speaking of that path and walking on the beach, I just want to show people the back cover
Oh,
because
thank you.
I was really passionate. At one point, we were thinking that this was going to possibly be part of the front cover, but then we decided to do another photo shoot.
No. Oh, that's
But,
right.
Yeah,
That's right.
but then look at this.
Thank you.
This is just a mother's love for her child and
Thank
a
you.
child's love for her mother.
That is me
it's
picking up
so
Hayden on the beach.
beautiful.
I need to start doing push-ups again.
Okay.
My arms were better there.
Stephanie from Sarasota says, I watch you every morning, Ainsley. You're an inspiration to me as the light within you does shine
Thank you
each and
so
every day. I
much.
pray for your continued success and happiness in your life. And her first grandson is also named Hayden.
Really? Oh, that's so beautiful. That was my middle name. Ainsley Hayden Earhardt is my birth name. And the family name is Ainsley Hall. But Dad thought it sounded like an auditorium. So they were in the hospital room and they were watching Pat Hayden as a sports announcer. And Dad said, what about Hayden? And Mom said, I really like that, right? Oh, he was a quarterback? Oh, I've told that story wrong my whole life.
All right.
He was the quarterback? Okay.
Coach
so-
is on the sidelines.
Coach is on
with
the sidelines,
correction.
right.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Michael from Locust Grove, Virginia wants to know, what is your best memory of Carolina? My girls are Carolina girls, and they would like to know.
Best memory. I have so many. Childhood memories, I remember my brother being born, and Dad was so excited to finally have a boy. And he came to my kindergarten class, and I was the line leader that day, and he wanted me to get out of class. And I said, Dad, I'm the line leader. It's the only day of the year I'm line leader. So he said, I'll tell you what, I'll give you, he brought bags of suckers to pass out to every student in the school to announce that he had a son and that I had a brother. So I went around to all the classes and gave out suckers. I came home from school that day and Dad had blue gloves, hospital gloves, blown up, hanging all over the dogwood tree we had in our front yard. I'm sure the neighbors were like, what in the world? And poster boards all over the front of the house. Remember that, Dad? That it's a boy, it's a boy. He finally got his son. And they allowed Dad to go into the hospital room because they didn't do that at the time. And Dad was friends with the doctor, and he's the same doctor that had delivered me. So Mom and Dad knew him really well. And they let Dad go in and be there when his son was born. So we were all just over the moon with that because he's my baby brother, but he's kind of like my son too. We all feel like we raised him. He was my baby doll that I got to take home.
Aww.
That's a great memory. But I love, Carolina games, tailgating at all the Carolina games with my family and eating Mom's great food and dancing. I love to go to weddings with my parents because my dad's a great dancer and it's always fun to get on the dance floor with him.
Well, your family's really into just enjoying life.
They really are.
That's what you'll learn from this book, and it might be able to help other people who are struggling. I mean, give you some ideas. Of some
And you
fun
don't
stuff
have to have a
do.
lot of money. We didn't have a lot of money, and we loved, I have the best memories in our house in Spartanburg. I shared a room. We had a 3-bedroom house with 5 of us living there, and I shared a room sometimes with my sister, sometimes with my brother, depending on who was getting along with who at that period in our life. And we had a huge backyard with azalea bushes everywhere and sticker bushes. I remember the sticker bushes. Dad brought home cannolis, and I threw the cannoli behind the sticker bushes because I hated them. And he found it, and I had to crawl under the sticker bushes to go get it. And if you know what sticker bushes, the stickers from the ground to here, you can crawl under and not get stuck. Do you remember that, Dad? And I had to go get the cannoli and bring it out. Those were underneath my bedroom window. We didn't have much, but Dad would build tents for us with just blankets and sheets, and we all loved doing that. Blanket forts, yeah.
Those are so much fun.
Yeah, so we
can
just
use
had a ball.
Hayden's blanket
I
and
know,
make a
that's what
blanket
Dad
fort.
Dad makes forts for Hayden. He did that for her at Christmas. We all were at the beach. We didn't take like extravagant vacations. Dad and 10 other families owned a beach house off the coast of South Carolina. And we would go there with another family, and they had kids. And we would just pack that house. It's a 3-bedroom house, and we would pack it with tons of kids and friends. And we would spend hours out on the beach building sandcastles. And Dad would take us out on a raft, and we would dig for sand dollars. And Dad would find them with his feet, and then we would dive down and pick it up in the sand, take them home, and put them in a big bucket of Clorox. And we would go crabbing, and Mom would cook the crabs, and we would open the crabs and eat the meat. And we just have great memories as a family. And Dad would we'd walk in the door at the beach house, and first thing Dad would do is hook up the stereo and start playing the beach music. And
Well, that sounds really
it was just fun. We just have always had a fun time together.
This is an interesting question from Raquel. She lives in Leesburg, Virginia, and she wants to know, how do you stay so helpful when there are so many trying to remove every aspect of God, and how do you ignore those who might theoretically or in real life actually target you because of your faith? Because we do live in a world right now where no matter what it is that you might say, somebody's going to come after you. How do you carve out that space where you can protect yourself from the haters?
You know, I'm doing the best I can. I feel anxiety sometimes. I do feel sometimes heaviness on my heart because, I work at Fox News, and there's so many liberal networks that don't like us. I also wrote a Christian book, Share My Faith. I know we're in a tough time politically with either people loving our president or hating our president. Our country is so divided. I do feel that heaviness. I'm reminded, in this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. And that's in Matthew. And I know that God has overcome all of this. He is much bigger than any of this. And his ways are higher than all of this. And you just have to breathe and take heart, and you have to stand up for your beliefs. I'm not saying you have to be a doormat and you have to just take it, because I think this country has taken it for so long that now people are starting to stand up, and they are, God's a gentleman. He got out of our lives when we asked him to get out of our schools, when we asked, they're trying to take him out of the Pledge of Allegiance. God's a gentleman, and he's gonna back away, and our country, I believe, is gonna be affected in a negative way because of it, because I think God is what grounds us, and this is what this country was founded on. And the values that we learn at church are so important, and just prayer is how I've gotten through my life. So I'm fearful, but I'm also reminded that God has overcome it all, and we shouldn't live in fear.
So I just want to remind people that signed copies are available at AinsleyLive.com, and now we are going to play 22 questions in 2 minutes.
Okay.
So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Number 1, where were you born?
Spartanburg, South Carolina, Mary Black Hospital.
Who would you want to play you in a movie?
Reese Witherspoon.
What was your first job?
First job, Hallmark. Cindy Stallings' mom owned the store, and we had a blast.
What is your greatest accomplishment?
My daughter, having my daughter.
Okay. What is your biggest fear?
Biggest fear, honestly, I don't even want to say it because I just don't like to speak. If anything happened to her, or if I didn't get to be her mother and to see her live a long life, or I just want to be with her forever.
What is the one thing you need to have in your fridge at all times?
Water is always a good thing, and avocados, guacamole.
Oh, my daughter's favorite.
Yes.
What is your favorite adult beverage?
Gosh, my new favorite beverage is, I like a little bit of tequila, a little bit of club soda, a little bit of Rose's lime juice. That's a really, this thing that I discovered my friend Lori has, it's called Splash, and you pour it in, and it's a margarita mix that has only 30 calories.
Oh, this is a good thing to know. Yeah. Okay, who is the most interesting person that you recently met?
Oh, today we interviewed.
Oh, I loved him.
Wasn't he precious?
Sorry.
His
Yeah.
name is Mark.
No,
Crazy Socks is the name of his company. Chris, it's not Mark.
it was the last thing I
So he has Down syndrome, and he created a company, a Crazy Sock company, and he mailed a box of Crazy Socks to George Bush 41 because he knew that he loved Crazy Socks. And they called him and asked him to send another box, and he did. And they called him before Barbara Bush was buried yesterday or Saturday and asked him to send any socks that had books on them so that he could wear them in her honor because of her literacy program. And so he said, I did have some socks with books on them. We didn't have enough time to make new ones, but I did have some with books on them, and I sent them to the president, and he wore them on his show. And this child was so precious, and his dad, the way his dad loves him,
The two of them
together.
It was so
What did you love about
heartwarming.
it?
Well, first of all, you don't often get to engage with someone with Down syndrome in a news interview.
Right,
and he
right.
is so smart, and he's so creative, and the company was his idea, and he's an entrepreneur with Down syndrome whose socks were on the
president.
ex-president of the United
I
States
know.
who wore them to honor his late wife at her funeral. I mean, it was
So
a beautiful
heartwarming.
thing. So I agree, and I figured that's what you were going
Yeah.
to say. Okay, we've discussed this, but what is your middle name?
Hayden, Ainsley Hayden
There you
Earhardt.
go. What is your biggest pet peeve?
Oh gosh. So I don't like loud noises that startle me. So when I'm walking down the street and someone has a loud car or a loud motorcycle and they rev it up right when they're next to me, that always just like gets me a little. Does it not affect you? Do you know what I'm talking about? I hate
Well,
that.
it's scary.
It's scary.
Yeah,
Scary.
yeah.
That and that's probably. Let me think. What's another one? I mean, something that New Yorkers kind of know about. When I moved here, I was the one that was annoying because I would stand in the middle of the sidewalk. But you learn when you're here, you have to move to the side because people are rushing like this, and everyone walks in New York. I mean, most people either do public transportation or they're always in a hurry because they're trying to get to work because it's taken an hour to get into town and all that. So I've learned to step aside if I'm going to stop and check my phone. But that now as a New Yorker, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, also
I feel
you're
so
getting
rude.
off the subway and you're walking up the steps and there's a person texting,
Blocking,
walking
right,
up the
right,
steps,
right.
and they stop
Right.
in the middle of the subway
I know,
steps.
exactly.
Okay, well, let's move on to positive. What is
Okay.
your favorite hobby?
My favorite hobby, I love playing tennis now. I'm not very good. I just took it up last summer.
Singles or doubles?
Singles. I'm just playing with a coach right
Okay,
now.
great.
I haven't done a tournament yet.
You should do a Fox and Friends tennis doubles
Oh,
match.
yeah, easy, Lisa. I would be so nervous. I know. Steve
Who would be
Ducey's
your
really
doubles
good.
partner? So you
Steve,
would
because
pick
he's good.
Steve.
I'd pick
Okay.
Steve. Let's see. Yeah, that's probably my hobby.
Okay,
What I
what
love
is
to
your
do now.
guilty pleasure?
Guilty pleasure? What do I love? S'mores.
Oh, yeah. Other than cheerleading, do you have any hidden talents?
I don't think so. Any hidden talents, Dad? What would you say? I always liked art. I mean, I wasn't a great artist, but I enjoyed
Painting, sculpture?
painting and just any project, any class project.
Okay, that's fun. It's so great to be a mom of a toddler because you can
It is.
be in
It
charge
is.
of your household class projects.
Is it hot in here? I'm sorry, y'all.
What
Is it
color
hot?
is your toothbrush?
Right now, it's clear.
What is your worst habit?
My worst habit. Let's see. Dad, what would you say it is? Probably talking too much, being too long-winded. I need to be better about listening and not talking so much. I think, I get paid to talk. The one thing I got in trouble for all the time in school was talking too much. I think I need to be a better listener.
What is your favorite thing to cook?
Well, I mean, I don't really cook. Yeah, I eat ground turkey a lot, and I just make it on the stove, and I'll put a little bit of avocado in there. But I'm a really healthy eater. I love steamed vegetables. I love any kind of fruit, but I'm not really.
Yeah, when I came into the house this morning and your dad said, "Can I make you a cup of coffee?" I said, "Yeah, what do you want in it?" I said, "Milk and sugar." He said, "Well, I'm not sure Ainsley has any sugar."
I do, Dad. It's under
It's
where the
okay.
muffins
It was a
are.
great cup of coffee. Okay, what is the last album or song you bought or streamed?
Oh, Elizabeth, probably the
Hillsong?
Hillsong ones. I could tell you on my phone. I download anytime I hear a song. Elizabeth will send me songs she loves. I'll send her songs that I love. My Bible study sends songs to each other. I am constantly downloading songs because I fly a lot and I love
Right.
to just listen to what I have
So
on my phone.
Hillsong, guys, we've talked
Hillsong,
about that. But
yeah.
what is your favorite thing to do at the gym if you have a favorite thing? It's probably not
I love
push-ups.
taking classes. So classes are my favorite thing because if you think about it, it's like hiring a personal trainer. They're just teaching 22 people or 20
Yeah,
people
I
at one
love
time.
classes.
So I love classes.
What kind of
you get in,
classes
you
do
get
you
out.
like?
I love anything that fits in my schedule. So I'm a member of Equinox, which is a gym here, and I have the pass where you can go to any of the gyms in the city because I will look at, there are 4 right in here in my neighborhood. So I'll look and see, okay, I have an hour block in my day at 11 o'clock. What class is at 11? And so I'll just book that class. I stay away from anything where you have to dance, though, because I can't keep up.
Oh my goodness.
The Zumba
so
classes,
no Zumba? Okay,
no
I think we're
Zumba.
going to have to get you into Zumba. What cause is dear to your heart?
Well, anything with juvenile diabetes, because my mom has suffered with it for so long. Anything for children and Folds of Honor. My children's books, I donated a percentage of everything I made to Folds of Honor because it sends kids to college when they've lost their parents fighting for our country.
Do you have something on your bucket list that you'd like to reveal right now?
God, so many things are going through my mind. It all relates to travel. I want to travel more whenever we get the time. When do you have the time?
Well, today I'd like to travel to London so that I could see that new baby.
Oh,
the
I
royal
know,
baby.
I know. I would love to go. I've been to London, which was wonderful.
I was just there. I love London.
You do?
I love
I'm
it.
going to
Oh,
go to
so
cover
beautiful.
the royal wedding. You'll have to give me tips
Oh,
of where to go,
I will.
what
I
restaurant.
will. I published a book by the Prince of Wales, so that was really
Oh,
fun.
you
He's
did?
super cool. I got to go and hang out with him
Really?
twice. Yeah.
What is he like?
He's really nice.
Really?
Yeah, he's a good dad.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of controversy there, but at the heart of it, he just wants to do right by the world, and he's got a lot of charitable causes, and he's
Oh,
super
wonderful.
nice. Where do you want to go that you've never been?
I want to go to Greece. I would like to go to where have I? Oh, I've never been to south of France. I've never been to Spain.
There's a song there,
I've
you
ne-
know.
Which song?
There's a song because I've never been to Spain.
Oh. I also, Mom always loved, I've been to Italy, but I've never been to the Amalfi Coast. In Capri or Capri. I'd love to go there. Dad, were you with Mom on that trip?
Not Capri, no, just
No.
to Rome and
Wow.
And Sienna, you and Mom,
All
y'all
right,
went to
a
Sienna.
lot of travel, a lot of travel. This is so exciting. You have so many great things that you're going to be doing. And what is the greatest thing about working at Fox?
Everything. Gosh, I love my job there. I think for me, Fox gave me a chance. A girl from South Carolina with a Southern accent, in New York City. Fox to me is, when I walk in the door, I still look and I see Radio City and I see Central Park way down 6th Avenue. And I'm like, oh my word, God, you were so good to me.
Right.
It just means New York will have my heart forever because all my dreams came true here.
It's so wonderful. So I just want to remind people, this is the book, The Light Within Me. It's a beautiful story. It's Ainsley's story. She's a beautiful person.
Thank you.
And we've so enjoyed. Anybody who's been watching, just go to AinsleyLive.com and you can get a signed copy of the book. It's a perfect present for Mother's Day, which is coming up, or Father's Day, which is coming up, or Memorial Day weekend reading, which is coming up.
Thank you, Lisa.
And how are we doing on time, Lauren?
Do we have
good?
any other questions, Elizabeth, that people on social media are asking?
We're good. People are loving it, though.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Thank
I mean,
you.
a lot of these are great questions. We've answered a lot of them just in the conversation that we've been having. So it's out tomorrow. I'm sure you'll be talking about it on Fox and Friends tomorrow.
Dad'll be on tomorrow.
There's a book signing tonight
There is.
at Bookends in Ridgewood, New Jersey. And there's a book signing tomorrow night in Brooklyn.
That's right. And
So-
one on Friday in
Yep.
Boiling Springs, South Carolina, and one on Saturday
Yeah.
in Columbia, South
So
Carolina.
right here on Ainsley's Facebook page, we've got cards up that show all the different places where the book signings will be. So yay, you're
Thank
the
you,
best.
Lisa. You're the best. I appreciate it. I feel so bad talking about myself. Gosh.
Oh, it's okay. You're just
But
doing it to inspire
Thank y'all
other
for your
people.
support. I love you all. Thank you.